Yahweh Elohim. The name of Yahweh is constantly associated with other terms, the most common being the combination Yahweh Elohim. Together they mean he who shall or will be mighty ones, and may be taken as a description of the ideas concerning the multitudinous manifestation of the divine name. The first occurrence of Yahweh Elohim is very significant. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth, when they were created, in the day that Yahweh Elohim made the earth and the heavens. Genesis chapter 2 verse 4. It is in the section thus commenced, and which reaches to Genesis chapter 3 and verse 24, that sin and redemption are referred to for the first time. The combination is constantly used in this section, whereas it only occurs 9 times in the remainder of the book of Genesis. Such a remarkable fact must be intentional. The entrance of sin into the world marked the appearance of failure of the work of the Elohim. Man, who had been created in their image, failed to reflect their moral likeness, and was sentenced to return to the dust from which he had been formed. But the failure was not to be the end. Indeed, God's purpose cannot fail, and that truth is involved in the very title used, I will be mighty ones. It declares, and in the section it is indicated how this shall be. I will put hostility between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. It shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. Genesis chapter 3 and verse 15. In Genesis chapter 2 to 3 it should be noted that the chief angel represents the deity, or Yahweh Elohim. Also, the Elohim are the angels. The plan whereby the man whom Yahweh made strong for himself, Psalm 80 and verse 17, was the arm of Yahweh to bring salvation to a multitude who should attain unto more than Adam forfeited by his sin. He lost life and the possession of a perfect human organism. They attain unto life eternal and a participation in the divine nature. They will then partake of the divine nature, having been called out of the mass of mankind to be a people for the name. Acts chapter 15 and verse 14. Each saint attaining unto that position will be an Aloha, or a mighty one, whilst combined they will constitute Elohim, or mighty ones. These titles will be applied to them because they will manifest the divine power. Thus Isaiah represents the nations making supplication unto Cyrus, who was a type of Christ, saying, surely God, the divine power, is in you. See Isaiah chapter 45 and verse 14, Psalm 82 and verse 6, Romans chapter 5 and verse 2, the first letter of John chapter 3 and verse 2, John chapter 17 verses 19 to 23, Romans chapter 8 and verse 17, the second letter of Peter chapter 1 and verse 4.